We saw that defining image of Gaza residents actually fleeing with nowhere to go. So as you mentioned, the Rafah crossing is perhaps the only way out for Gaza residents. Now, just to give a bit of perspective, Gaza is completely blockaded by Egypt, Israel and the Mediterranean Sea. The only way out for millions of Gaza is the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt. Now, this is the only way Gaza residents can actually get out of the enclave and supplies can come in. So there's increasing pressure on Egypt to act. But this also, remember, as Israel has closed its 2 border crossings with Gaza when it declared complete siege. So now the big question is, will Egypt actually open the Rafah crossing for the millions of Gazans actually fleeing? Now, in the fog of war, as they say, it's difficult to verify whether the Palestinian side of the Rafah crossing is currently functional or open or not. Though what we do know is that the Egyptian side is currently functional. So what the Egyptian government says is that there have been repeated Israeli strikes on the Palestinian side in the course of the past couple of days as that unprecedented war unfolded, because of which there has been absolute unprecedented damage on the Palestinian side of the border. But now this Egyptian-Gaza border, this border crossing is assuming more importance because of Israel's ultimatum for North Gaza evacuation, which essentially means millions of Gaza residents have to evacuate North Gaza in a matter of hours and head towards the south. Now, this is Israeli forces are ramping up their ground presence ahead of an expected ground incursion, with tanks actually amassing along the border and thousands of reservists, Israeli reservists, actually being moved closer to Gaza. Now, Gaza residents, as we saw in all of those images, are leaving the north and heading towards the south of the Gaza Strip. So, in the backdrop of the exceptionally desperate situation that Gaza residents find themselves in, what is Egypt saying? Well, now, as per both Egyptian and Jordanian governments, the 2 countries are awaiting security clearance from the Israelis to allow aid and trucks to actually cross the Rafah crossing, the Egyptian border, without the threat of another Israeli airstrike. So Egypt, in a sense, has asked Israel to stop bombing the Rafah crossing. Now, this is the only way the world can avoid a catastrophic humanitarian crisis for Gaza, perhaps a scale that the world has not seen, at least in the past couple of years, with the lives of millions of Gazans at stake. Because, as I said, the Rafah crossing is the only way to get aid into Gaza, because power supply, food supply, water supply, all of it has been blocked by Israel. And of course, as I said, Gaza is blockaded from all sides as well. Now, even though Egypt says that we sympathize with Gaza residents, the opening up of Rafah crossing would require, a great amount of diplomatic and geopolitical negotiations, because Egypt has said that while we do acknowledge that there's a humanitarian crisis unfolding, we have to keep in mind that we reach a peace solution in a way that doesn't cost Egypt much. Now, this is because there's a historical context between Egypt and Israel as well. Israel had seized Gaza from Egypt after the 1967 war. And as per reports, the US is also in talks with Egypt for the opening of the crossing, because now, as per the United States, they have a security plan and also a plan to actually develop a humanitarian corridor for Gazans to flee. But the situation on the ground currently is absolutely desperate for Gaza residents. Gargi, back to you.